Can you imagine making alive a house that used to be in almost disrepair? Can I go back to the art that I grew up with? And my mom and dad, I did mention earlier, that also collected antiques. And I still to this day appreciate that very much. Antique furniture, even icons and virinas, and I enjoy and appreciate all of these things. At one point, I was with Jim Jennings and doing all these great modern architecture, but I found myself pining for something else. At one point, I wanted to go to New York and work for a PC firm, Preservation Conservation Architecture firm, and I ended up being in one, Lee Saltzman. And they were working on the Rhinelander House on the Upper East Side, which is now the flagship store of Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren had been in, he had been in Macy's, and he had these little boutique shops, but he leased that huge manse, and the Rhinelander House just came to life again. And can you imagine making alive a house that used to be in almost disrepair? But it had to be done in a way where it was true to what it used to be. So all the balusters, all the moldings, all the crown moldings, and all the details were not just conjured up in our office or in the firm. We had to research for all of these things, and by virtue of old photos and old plans and such. So it was a stretch, to say the least, in terms of how different the practice was from where I started to when I ended up being at Lee Saltzman in New York. And I still enjoy that. I still enjoy looking at the old structure. I still enjoy looking at Caravaggios and all these old masters. To this day, I was in Cebu, and I was asking my host if I could they could bring me to Bolhoon Church and all these old churches that I know of, and and he asked me, and we were talking about he's a big contemporary art collector, and we had been talking a lot about who our favorite artists were, and then I had a free day, and he was wondering why I wanted to go to all these old churches, and just because I told him I still love them. It's not. It's still something that draws me to it, the old world. There's something about it still.